what's up, Shadowverse soldiers? Before we get into it, I wanted to talk about a new tournament that I'm hosting, the Olivia's Webcam Tournament. It's a $20 entry fee, and it's a best of 3 Swiss rounds. First place gets a Dark Angel Olivia, while second place gets 45, third place gets 20, and fourth gets 15. We'll be doing it on November 4th, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll put a link in the description below, and I will hope to see you guys there. What is up, my Shadowverse soldiers, and welcome back to another video. So I want to apologize to Tyshawn. He got third place at our Virginia Beach store championship, but something went wrong with the video, so I might work on it later on today and see if I can get it working. But today I wanted to talk about that I got fourth place at Virginia Beach, and I played D-Shift, my favorite deck. So I wanted to go ahead and break it down for everybody. How often I play D-Shift? I've been playing D-Shift for since the CCG. I had a really bad build of it, but I always had the concept of taking another turn and having that sort of control over the game. You can just see your opponent sets up and they're not ready to die, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna do my turn and then I'm gonna do it again. I've always liked that type of concept. So I thoroughly enjoy control decks like this. Isabel, Senpai had said in my earlier videos, check that out, is that, there's something about Isabel and just being a wizard and whatnot, and being part of Shadow Wizard Money Gang just always brought a smile to my face when I found out that's what the name of this deck was. So let's go ahead and get into it. I love you guys, and let's go ahead and start. So first, I'm going to start off with Angelic Snipe. Angelic Snipe is definitely a good staple for this set, especially going against Abysscraft and Swordcraft. When they drop those little 1-drops, 2-drops, they're pretty cool. And all the power to Swordcraft and Abyss players. But this card is pretty clutch, doing 2 damage to a little small body. Even though, you might be sniping a 1-1, it really doesn't matter. Just sniping a little 2-drop is fine. But Angelic Snipe is a 3-of. And then we go over into Insight. The night before we left, I was thinking, hey, we should probably cut this card to 2. And then they were like, Sparta, don't do that, you're smoking crack. And then I realized that sometimes you just need that extra draw for the turn to find one of your bigger bodies. And Insight is definitely a 3-of. That's just the staple. So, it's a 1-of, draw a card quick, do it at the end of the turn. Let's go ahead and go into Craig. Craig is one of the newer cards that came out of the most recent set. I didn't think I was gonna run this card when the first set came out, and I was opening my boxes, and I was like, okay, Craig's part of the academics, is cool. Then I realized it's another card to filter, and he has an Evo that's a 3/2, so that can deal with Forte. So this card's pretty good, especially on Evo. So you just draw a card and then you discard a card. So it's not already like Penguin, you have to discard a card and then pray and see you get something. You draw a card, and then if it's a Trail of Light or something like that, you can definitely get some filter going on. Next we're going into Penguin. He's been a staple since set 1, and I'm pretty sure he's still going to be a staple going forward, as is Uma and set 3, if D-Shift is definitely going to be a thing. But at first I was running 3 Penguins, and then it felt so bad when I was drawing a Craig, and then I would draw another follower, and then after I pitch another spell like an Angelic Snipe, which I don't want to do, I just get another follower on top of that, so it felt really bad. So I cut him down to 2. It's still a pretty good card. Don't sleep on Penguin. Next we're going into Fire Chain. Fire Chain is so good. So good. I might bump him up to 3. I might honestly bump him up to 3. Because getting rid of, especially with this meta being a little aggro, getting rid of 2 bodies. It's really just getting rid of 2 bodies. Using a Fire Chain at the end of their turn and then using Fire Chain again. It's so broken. It's so broken. Just 3 damage split between 2 bodies. You can't get better than that. So I'm probably going to boost it up to 3. But I'm already at 40 right now. So I'm going to see where I can change some things. Next, we're going over to Rhymewind. This card is pretty good. I'm going to keep it at 1 though, because it says unevolved followers, and anytime anyone's doing anything that's dangerous, that follower is evolved. 9 times out of 10, that follower is evolved. So there's no reason for me to have more than 1. I can also use it with Merlin. We'll get into her later. to use her from the cemetery. And that's really the best part about, Runecraft is, recycling all these spells that you've seen so far. But I'm keeping it as a one of. It's really good against Dragoncraft, especially with like Genesis Dragon, who doesn't have an evolve, and you're at 2. Very, very good. Next, we're going over to Surefire Bullet. OMG. This was the card to play against Sword. If you do not have 3 of these, please pick them up. Because OMG. When they play Flow Fencer and then they Evo, and if you, being a Runecraft player, you just leave all your energy up. Play points up, excuse me. I'm thinking of Dragon Ball. Leave all your play points up and then see what they're going to do. And at the end of the turn, snipe that bitch. Like, she is not living to swing 4 at me. You have to be a really good sword player for me to even think, oh yeah, that floor fencer is gonna swing 4 at me. No, it's not. I'm running Surefire Bullet, she's evolved, she's taking 4 damage. Unless you boost her up on defense. Then it's gonna take a little more than that. But I don't know any Swordcraft cards as of set 2 that are buffing up on defense. Because you're not Havencraft, be real. But Surefire Bullet, 3 of. I love it so much. Good card. Everybody pick it up. It's a neutral card. It's gonna be good going further. When they make another crack card, pick that one up. But so far, Surefire Bullet's the way to go. 3 of. It's the way to go in the spell deck. Moving on, we have Trail of Light. I like this card. I really love this card because of the filter that it can do, especially with Penguin and Craig. But if you see this card and those 2 cards aren't in your hand, it's just tears all day. So I wish I could go down to 2, but it's just so good that we need 3 of until like there's another card that's better, which I don't think there's gonna be right now. The Trail of Light's good, 3 of. It's a pitch a card, draw a card, and when it's discarded, you draw another card. So next, we're going on to Merlin. Merlin is definitely the MVP. She lets me look through my deck for any spell I want. So I'm going to watch what you're going to do for the first 3 turns because I'm not doing anything unless you're a very slow deck and I play Penguin on 2 and I already have Trail of Light. But if I have Merlin on 4 or 5, I promise to you, I'm watching what you're doing and I'm seeing how you're pacing the game. I'm going to adjust. That's the one thing that I like about Runecraft is that it can adjust so well. I can get any one of these spells that you can see. And just like Gemstaff Commander, Merlin's definitely a 3 of. She's definitely going to be good going on into the future. So I can just adjust. There are times where I've had a pretty solid hand with Angelic Snipes and Fire Chain and already had a Penguin established. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm going to go get a Trail of Light. I'm going to pitch the Trail of Light, with the Penguin that's still active. And I'm just going to draw 2 cards and shuffle my deck. And that's, any one of the randomization that's going to happen with cards. But I'm going to, I'm just going to filter through my deck. I'm going to see what's in my deck. I'm going to filter through it and then see what I have left. So Merlin's a 3 of, that's obvious. Merlin's so good. So this is the tech card against Haven and slower decks. I tell you, you don't have any scary bodies in this deck that are below 5, below 5. You don't have any scary bodies. Craig's not scary, Penguin's not scary, Merlin's not scary. But this Runeblade Summoner, when you have 5 spells in the cemetery, she becomes a 5/5. With spell boost 10, she becomes a 5/5 with Storm. You know how scary that is? So, on 3, I'm praying that, if lucky enough that I have 5 spells in there, I'm gonna play her. That's a 5/5. As soon as I attack with her, or their whole next turn is figuring out how am I going to get rid of this Runeblade Summoner because she's swinging for 5 each time. That's like 4 attacks from Runeblade Summoner. So there's no way you're letting Runeblade Summoner attack 4 times. So they're gonna focus their turn on either building their board, or they're either going to focus their turn on killing Runeblade Summoner, which I'm not too hurt about because I only spent 3 for her. And, my next turn, I can still set up for bigger things. You see what I'm talking about? So, Runeblade Summoner is definitely a 3 of. It's very good in the Haven matchup. I did not go against Haven this past weekend, but it's very, very good. It's a definitely good tech option for Rune because a 5/5 with Storm is ridiculous, especially if you're sitting at like 5. It's very, very good. Next, we'll move forward to Fate's Hand. People are running this at a 3 of. I feel like it's a little too clunky to run at 3, but 2 is definitely good. Just so I can see it early on in case, you know, my hand is straight garbage, because that is, you know, that happens. And then, you know, I can have another one later on in the game to, you know, either do it for the Spell Chain 10 to recover a play point. And we'll get into a tech later on with the cards and what I did at the tournament here. But another MVP, we'll move forward, is Witch Bolt. OMG. Pitching this early on with Craig and then Penguin Wizard. And then using Merlin to search for a spell, and then evolving Merlin to, you know, cast something from the cemetery, and it being Witch Bolt. That's 2 cards. That's plus 2 cards. And all you had to do was just play Merlin and then Evo. So you plus 2 there. Well, I guess it's really plus 1 since you replaced Merlin with the spell. So, you know, plus 1. So it came in pretty clutch, especially doing 5 damage to anything, and that's usually like the blade point of where all the followers, you know, that aren't really, you know, super strong, you know, nothing that does anything too crazy is over 5. So, you know, Witch Bolt definitely took care of a lot of things. I'm only running 2 of it, so it's pretty nice. Next we have Fiery Embrace, 3 of. So Fiery Embrace, definitely the Spell Chain 10 is nice for doing 3 damage to someone, but destroying any follower as a quick is very, very good. Most of the time I pitched it most of the time because, you know, the metagame's fast, but against Aggro Abyss, I had 2 in my hand. So I was like, alright, well, I had a very good removal hand. I had Angelic Snipe, Fire Chain, 2 Fiery Embraces. I was like, oh yeah, he's not hitting me this turn. He's not hitting me. So, used 2 Angelic Snipes, used a Fire Chain, and then, you know, as I was drawing more removal, Rhyme Wind, and Surefire Bullet. So I had all the removal. So it's very good, especially in the early game, just to get rid of something. I mean, it feels bad if you're getting rid of a 3/3 when you have Surefire Bullet or a 4/4, but if it's removal in your hand, it's keeping you alive. You're not taking that 2 damage. You're not taking that 3 damage. So just destroy an enemy follower and don't worry about it. So I run that as a 3 of, just good hard removal for spells. Very, very good. Next we have Daria. This is one of the newer cards, and I'm going to let every Runeblade player know that Daria is just a lifesaver. I know you draw a lot of cards in this deck, and you're pitching a whole bunch of cards, but you have to situate yourself in a position where, if I play Daria, can I win? Because there are turns when you get into those late games and you're like, okay, I'm stuck. I need to do Daria, because if I don't, I'm going to lose. So it's usually a shotgun play. That's how I think of Daria. She's really a shotgun play. You know, you have a lot of cards in hand. You get rid of your hand, spell boost all around if you haven't already reached it. And you take the top 5 of your deck and put it into your EX. And that's your new hand. Your EX area is your new hand. So one of the techs that came up, we'll talk into the Evo too, because the Evo also makes a spell and a follower cost 5 less. And as you can see, everything that costs 5 less is really just free in this deck. So the optimal mill is to get a Fate's Hand, a Runeblade Summoner, potentially a Merlin, hopefully a Mithril Golem. These are like, you know, everything's really good. Everything's really good. But one of the situations that came up was the Daria. I played Daria. I milled 5. I got a Fate's Hand. I got a Flame Destroyer. Got a Rhyme Wind. And then I got a Runeblade Summoner and Angelic Snipe. I believe that's 5. So I just made the Fate's Hand free, and then the Runeblade Summoner free. And I do Fate's Hand. I draw 2 cards, so you know that's 2 extra cards, and then you recover a play point. So if you're at like 9 and you do this for 7, you know, you go back to 3. So if I wanted to, I can play Runeblade Summoner from my hand, and she'll have spell boost 10 because of Daria, because followers count as spell boost now. So she's really good. I'll think about putting her to 2 of. She's very, very good. But at the same time, she is a very, very shotgun-y play. That if you haven't like established a board state, or just you haven't clipped their board clear, it's very hard 100% as a shotgun play. You have to do this, and then you have to win. You have to either win this turn, or you have to pray that they don't have it, which is not a very good thing to say in Shadowverse, because if you're praying that someone doesn't have something, they surely do have something for you. But Daria's shotgun play, I love her to death. She's a very good card, but I'm only gonna keep her as a one-of. There's some people who run 2 of it. I still like it. There's nothing wrong with running 2 of Darius, but I don't see, if you get 2 Darius in your hand, it feels really bad. So 1 Daria, 1 Evo. Moving forward, we'll go to Mithril Golem. There has been a discussion in my brain of running 2 Mithril Golems instead of Alchemist Lore. We're in a really, really faster meta than I expected when I first put in Mithril Golem, but still doing 5 damage to everything over 4 is really what took me over. Alchemical Lore is 1 less than Mithril Golem, but I like the fact that it deals 5 to everything, and then if paired up with Daria and with the spell chain, spell boost being at 15, then it really does work. So really, I don't know. It's just a personal thought that I've had in my head of, hey, do I want something that's one cost cheaper, also a spell that helps with a spell chain, and that does 4 to everything, or do I want a Mithril Golem that potentially has the chance to burn them for 5, which also helps with Runeblade Summoner, because 5 is just the magical number, it seems, and then wiping the board. That's really what it came down to. And you also get a body, so there was really pluses on Golem. It's just finding the Golem and then playing it at the right time. It's just so hard, because you have to filter through your deck, and then seeing a Golem very early in the game feels nice, but if they're aggroing you down and you don't see your spells, it feels really, really bad. But if you draw a Mithril Golem at the right time, you're sitting over there cheesing like Chuck E. Cheese. So I put Mithril Golem as a 2 of, just so I don't draw them too much as a 3, and then not draw them at 1. So 2 really felt like a good spot. So 2 of Mithril Golem. Next we move on to Flame Destroyer. So with Runecraft, you're never going to hit the play of, I'm going to play a Flame Destroyer. You're not going to hit the turn where you hit 3 Flame Destroyers and then D-Shift. It's not happening. You can do it against someone that's pretty new, but if you're going to like a store championship or a regional, yeah, there's no way on this green earth you're hitting 3 Flame Destroyers and then D-Shifting. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. The meta is too fast right now for you to do that right now. So basically, you're gonna have to pay 3 for your in a perfect world, you're gonna have to pay 3 for a Flame Destroyer. And just like Runeblade Summoner, they are going to focus their turn on getting rid of that. Do not be afraid. Do not sit there and have Flame Destroyer in your hand and 100% not, it's just sitting there looking at you in your hand. If you have Spell Chain 10, he's a 3-drop. He's a 3-drop 7/7 with Rush. He handles wards. And if he's rested, that's fine. That buys you another turn, because they are going to focus on these big bodies. You guys need to understand that as Runecraft players, if you don't already know. These big bodies are a threat. Daria's a 6/6 when she's evolved. Flame Destroyer's a 7/7. Runeblade's a 5/5. They need to handle these big bodies when you play them. So they're going to focus their turn on either swinging face, which you can deal with if you keep, play points open to respond to them, and then have a good crackback of, dropping a big body, and it's looking at them like, all right, you just did that, deal with this. And they won't be able to. Some decks can, I'll give it to you, some decks can, but decks that are lower to the ground and that don't have any good mid-range, they are going to suffer if you get there. And that's the thing, that's the one thing about Runecraft, you have to get there, and that's just so unfortunate. Okay, so don't roast me on this, guys. I took some advice, and I was running D-Shift as a 2 of until I thought to myself, am I? playing this card twice? I mean, yeah, it's nice having the extra spell in case you need to pitch it, but if you pitch D-Shift and you don't have another one, and you're like, alright, I just need one more turn to kill you, and you have 7 play points, it's like, okay, well, this feels really bad. But having a 1 D-Shift, I see it, I know it's in my hand, I can play around that. If I know I'm gonna kill them in another turn, I can pitch D-Shift and, you know, just forget about the play. But usually how I use D-Shift is I will have a certain spell chain. Usually, it's not a perfect world. It's not a perfect world. But the perfect world is having a Flame Destroyer and having at least 2 of them to D-Shift to play. But that's usually never how it goes. So usually what I do is I will set up. It's usually on 7, so I probably should have enough, at least 10 by turn 9. So I'll play, you know, whatever BS that I need, like a 2-drop, like a Craig, or a Runeblade Summoner on 10. Like, if I have 10 play points, I'll play a Runeblade Summoner and she'll have Storm. And then use 7 for D-Shift. And then 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna play Daria afterwards, because that's an extra card to draw, and that filters through your deck faster. So you D-Shift for Daria, you have Spell Chain, all these cards you can use to reduce by 5, because you'll definitely be going to 10 afterwards if you're doing it on the 9 play. So you'll be sitting at 4 extra play points with the, if you win second, you know, you'll have 3 extra play points. You just play Daria afterwards, and it feels really, it's like I said, it's a shotgun play. It's a shotgun play. You're doing, it's like, what reference can I use? It's like, you know, Bardock's Final Stand. It's the last thing you can do, and it can work out for you, and it can really not help you out. And sometimes you just gotta scoop it up and be like, hey, man, you know, that's all I can do, and that's what it comes down to. That's all I can do. So D-Shift as a 1-of, don't flame me, guys. I I like this deck so much. I've enjoyed using it. So 1 of D-Shift. Next, we'll get into the Evo deck. I'm running 3 of Craig's, you know, extra pitch, extra draw, filter, it feels nice, along with 2 Penguin, because we only run 2 Penguins. So, extra pitch on Evolve. If there's ever a time where you need to swing with Penguin for 1, and then Evolve, and then swing for Penguin for 2, I've seen my buddy do it. It's helped. So 2 of Penguin. And then we have 3 Merlins for the repeat, the 3 repeat on spells that are 3 or less. They feel really good. And then the 1 of Daria, the shotgun play. So that's the Runecraft deck. I would definitely make changes, especially if Uma Derby comes out and shakes up the deck. I would definitely love that. Definitely tweak it to how you guys would, you know, see it fit. This is pretty good for me. There's definitely more testing that I need to do as far as what's going on. The meta's fast, so more lower to the ground stuff to deal with smaller bodies. A better board wipe, because, you know, Havencraft has a 5-drop board wipe that just gets rid of everything on the field. But unlike a Mithril Golem that does 5 to everything, which is, you know, this is pretty okay. It's not like it's bad, but, you know, Runecraft could get a little more love. I leave it as a tier like 1.5. If you've seen my tier list video, it's a 1.5 deck. But Roki, I wouldn't say it's Roki. I love it. It's just Shadow Wizard Money Gang, as I've said before. We love casting spells. Alright, well, that's it for the deck, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. Please stay safe in whatever you do tonight. Please stay safe in whatever you do for the rest of the year. I love you guys. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know how you guys are doing in your store championship. Come on, give me some feedback. I've been dry here, and I love you guys. So let's build up our Shadowverse soldiers, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
I gave you all my love, baby, my heart is cold when you're around. You warm it up, liquid gold, baby, yeah, you warm it up, liquid gold, baby, and my affection, all that paper you wasted. Take my love.